Hello world. So today we are doing another Mega Mewtwo Musings episode. This is episode 2. If you want to see how the deck is put together, look at episode 1. We go through all the important cards, I think. If you have any questions, ask there, and I'll go probably into more detail than you want in answering them. That said, today we have our first match with the deck. This one's against Darkrai EX. More specifically, it's a Darkrai Dragons build, and more specific than that, it's a Dark Dragonair build. So, Dragon's Wish is used for energy acceleration. But with that said, let's go ahead and dig in. So the typing here makes it likely that we're against like a Dark Dragons deck. You see the Dark, the Dragon, the Psychic, and the Colorless. That's probably Darkrai, some sort of Dragon type or types, and then Hoopa and Shaymin. Um, and we're blessed with a Shaymin start. Yay! That's okay. That's okay. We'll see what we can do here. Go ahead and click done. And at least we get to go first, right? Okay, so we have a Sycamore and a whole bunch of energy. And I go ahead. I'm going to discard a couple energy, get them in the discard for the Mega Turbos later on. And we are going to get Hoopa. Okay, so with Hoopa, we'll go ahead. We'll get out. We only have one Mewtwo. Really? I can't make this easy for us, huh? So I guess we'll get. Let's look. Okay, at least none of our other vital pieces are missing. The fact that we only have 2 Spirit Links isn't a big deal when we only have one Mewtwo. With Hoopa, we'll just grab, I guess, one Mewtwo and a Shaymin. It's almost not worth it to use Hoopa here, but I think we do want both Mewtwo and Shaymin to be able to have a shot here. We're not going to grab a Mega Mewtwo because we don't want to clog up the space for cards that are going to be clogging up our hand and affecting our Shaymin. So we'll go ahead and bench the Mewtwo, and we'll attach an energy. We'll go ahead and play the Float Stone onto the Shaymin, and we'll go ahead and set up for 4 more cards. We would have been fine with waiting there, not attaching the Float Stone, except that we wanted it out of our hand to maximize what we're pulling. So we'll play the Trainers Mail, bench the Trubbish, of course, and looking here, there's really nothing that we want. We can't Ultra Ball for anything. Really, we'd rather kind of save that for later. And again, we don't want to Ultra Ball. We'll Ultra Ball next turn to get the Mewtwo. And here, I'm going ahead and I'm playing the Trainers Mails. This is a bit of a mistake, because if our opponent ends, it can really hurt us. So, yes, we want the Mega Turbo next turn after we Mega Evolve. Yeah, really, this is a mistake. If our opponent plays in, we're in trouble. We can get another Mega Turbo. We already have the Ultra Balls we need, so we can very quickly power up our Mewtwo if our opponent doesn't in. But we really should have left those Trainer Mails in the deck to avoid that vulnerability. We see our opponent bench a Hoopa, so he's going to grab probably a Darkrai, a Dragon, and a Shaymin, would be my guess. Again, based on the typing which we saw, depending on what's in his hand. If any piece of that is in his hand, he might double up on Darkrai's. We'll see what he gets. Just a Darkrai and a Shaymin. So maybe he has another Darkrai and a Dragon in his hand already. Or maybe he has Darkrai's prized. He plays a Trainer's Mail. And he gets an N. Well, there we go. Now he's going to play an Ultra Ball. Okay, so maybe he didn't want to get to... Oh, it's this Darkrai Dragons. So this is featuring Dratini and, more importantly, Dragonair for the Dragon's Wish setup. It can really speed energy attachments, which can both really help and also kind of really hurt when you're against a deck that loves you to have energy on you. Here we're going to Ultra Ball. Go ahead and discard the Wob because we're probably going to get our Garbodor set up, and he's a little bit more powerful. So we'll Mega Evolve. We'll attach another Psychic Energy. We'll play a Mega Turbo. And since we only have the one Mewtwo, we probably might as well do both. I was thinking there whether or not we can knock out the Shaymin without it, but we couldn't, so definitely want it. We'll Sycamore here. Would have liked to have used that Ultra Ball to grab Garbodor, but we don't need to. We get him off the Sycamore. That's lovely. So we'll go ahead, evolve him. We'll play down the Float Stone, and importantly, this also turns off the ability of our the Giratina EX up here, who is otherwise immune to Mega Pokemon. So that's good for us as well. Grab a couple prizes, and one of them is another Mewtwo. So we can continue our setup from here. We take an early prize lead, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything since we are a little bit behind in setup. Our opponent plays another in. We're fine with that. We didn't want to Sycamore this hand away. So we get an Ultra Ball and a Spirit Link, which could be very helpful. We can Ultra Ball for the Mewtwo and then attach the Spirit Link, as long as we draw a card that we can discard alongside the Lysandre. Garbodor, that works. Okay, so our opponent, like I said, played the Dragon's Wish, which I guess I should have talked about. He's going to be able to attach as many energy as he wants next turn, which can make his Darkrai able to attack very quickly and very powerfully. So, like I said, all right. So Ultra Ball, Mewtwo-EX, attach the Spirit Link, and then probably just be a Seeker for Sycamore. Play here. It's a little bit, we'd like to be able to attack something else, but there's nothing else we can KO other than maybe the Shaymin, which wouldn't be a bad play, really. We would get 2 prizes off of it. It's close, but I was thinking at the time that we'd be better off getting more setup. I think you could go either way. The Lysandre for the Shaymin. I don't like this though. If we're gonna Lysandre, I don't know why I went for the Darkrai. I must have done the math wrong and failed to think about the fact that he has resistance. So that hurt us in a couple of different ways. But even if he hadn't had resistance, we would only hit for 160 because it was 5 energies. We really should have, like I finally realized while playing, should have hit the Shaymin. That would have been enough to really lock us down. He probably would have gotten a return KO, but as is, we're sort of in trouble. He chooses. Okay, so he didn't have enough energy to knock out a Mewtwo. That's awesome for us. We got lucky there. Because he can't just go crazy. It's entirely possible for a Dragon's Wish play to lead to, and we top deck a VS. So we made a mistake, made a couple mistakes with the Trainers Mails and the Lysandering the wrong Pokemon there, but luck was on our side, I guess. So we're in good shape here. I'm debating whether or not to bench the Trubbish. I decide not to. I go ahead and play the Stadium down. It's really probably not going to come into play. I guess the one situation where it could would be if he hit us, didn't knock us out, and then we, for some reason, decided we wanted to go for a Shaymin attack. But that's pretty unlikely. Go ahead, take the KO on the Darkrai, and really, this game is basically over. We can knock out almost anything next turn. We would take a KO on Shaymin. We would take a KO on Giratina, I think, because we'd have 600, so that'd be 190. We wouldn't take a KO on Hoopa. That's unless we could get another energy. I guess another DC. I'm kind of surprised our opponent hasn't just conceded, but more power to him. See if he got anything interesting off of his Sycamore there. So he plays another Dragon's Wish. We will play the Trainer's Mail, see if we can get a Lysandre. We don't. So I don't think we want to get anything. There is a DCE there taunting us. We'll go ahead and bench the Mewtwo. There's almost no need to do this, though. I think we can just Sycamore. I don't know what we're even hoping for here, but I guess we get the energy. We get a VS Seeker for next turn, but next turn we'll only need one prize anyway. I'm debating where to attach it here, and I think I end up attaching it. Okay, I was tempted to attach to the bench Pokemon, so we had 2 set up, but he cannot KO us next turn. I mean, if magically he had, I guess he could technically KO us, right? He could put up a Darkrai and then attach enough energy to KO Mewtwo. But even then, we can just attach DCE to the other Mega and then VS Seeker for a Lysandre. So even if he were able to go completely crazy with Dark Energies, we'd still win this. I think he was looking to get enough energy attached to Salamence for Salamence to be able to come out and hit for 210. And that's a good play. I don't think I said that, and then he attached in all the wrong places. Is he thinking Giratina is going to be his savior? Giratina doesn't. What is? He's attaching energy in all the wrong places. Did he forget that Salamence needs another energy? He totally did. He attached energy to Darkrai. This is like in our Rainbow Road video where we attached the energy in the wrong place. Okay, we were gonna win that anyway, but that's. I feel for him because we've done the same thing on video, no less. Wow, well, good for us. Happy day. With that, we'll go ahead and wrap up this video. We will be back on Friday with another match. See you next time.